Okay, good evening. It is 7:41 p.m. on Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, and we are going to begin the Sun Prairie Common Council meeting. Elena, would you please take the roll?
Baker,
Here.
Batterman,
Here.
Comstock,
Here.
Crombie,
Here.
Drengler,
Here.
Jacobs,
Yep.
Owens,
Here.
Rosas,
Here.
and we have quorum.
Thank you. Okay, next item. If you are able, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we've done the last few weeks, I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember our safety and military personnel who every day lay their lives on the line in keeping us safe. So if we could take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to the city clerk certification of the April 7th, 2026 spring election. Elena.
Thank you. I just have a quick report tonight on the April 7th spring election. The Municipal Board of Canvassers met following the election to review the results from all reporting units and complete the official canvass. We did have one provisional ballot issued on Election Day, and that voter did come back with the required documentation to complete their registration, so that ballot was able to be counted at the canvass. So in terms of participation, we had 12,007 voters total, which included that provisional voter, and that was including 4,091 absentee voters, which brought us to a 52.3% turnout. So as part of the canvass, the board reviewed the tabulator tapes, poll books, absentee reports, and reconciliation materials from each reporting unit, and everything reconciled as expected. And the canvass also confirmed that the results that were reported on election night, with the addition of the provisional ballot, and none of the outcomes changed. So tonight we are just sharing the certified results with the council.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. We are going to do the ceremonial oath of office for newly elected officials. Elena?
So we're going to go down front.
I want to welcome back Alder Owens, Alder Rosas, Alder Crombie, and welcome Alder-elect Batterman.
All right. Make sure that you guys are more visible than me. All right, thank you. If I can have you all raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and the ordinances of the City of Sun Prairie, and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of alderperson, and state your district number, to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you, Elena. Okay, we're on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the approval of the minutes from March 17th, 2026, bills for payment, and appointments to boards and commissions. Tonight, if you looked at the agenda, there are a number of appointments being done. Some are re-upping for another term. Some are new. We have Theron Stotts in the audience, who will be serving us on the Park Recreation and Forestry Commission. If anybody else here is going to be new, please raise your hand. I'll recognize you. Okay. So, again, welcome, Theron. I know you'll do a great job. Okay, we also have other consent agenda items, which are basically liquor license. So I would like to entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Welcome, Theron. Okay, on to petitions and communications, citizen appearance and public comment for anything that's not on the agenda. Do we have anybody in the audience for items not on the agenda? Mark, nothing? Thank you.
There's one for Sunshine.
Okay. Okay, looks like we do. Okay. Public comment. Sunshine Anderson, would you please come up? And Sunshine, due to the time we have, could you please limit to 3 minutes?
Absolutely. This will be my quickest one yet.
Thank you.
And I won't even use the word audit. Okay, I'd like to take a moment. Sunshine Anderson, 1442 Thoreau Drive. I'd like to take a moment to share my support for the Museum Board's upcoming recommendation to hire an LTE staff member to serve as a volunteer coordinator at the Historical Museum for the remainder of 2026 using funds from saved wages previously allocated to the museum. Volunteers, community members, and visitors to the city are itching to get in, and especially as we roll into tourism season. So while this position would be limited, it allows museum supporters precious time to figure out how to wean the museum off of levy dollars. This staff member would make it possible for volunteers to navigate some of the operations with professional support, ideally making for a smooth transition to a more independent museum. We'll dive deeper into this on May 5th, but I just wanted to plant this seed in your mind, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunshine. Okay, any further public comment? Okay, if not, we will move on to business of the mayor, and I have some proclamations to present for this evening. So, Shelley, you're up first. Okay, before I begin this proclamation, I want to point out that in one of the latest In Business magazines, Shelley Joan Weiss was featured in a great article on the reason we're here tonight. So,
Thank you.
great job.
Thank you.
Shelley's been a proponent, as you may remember, of the military child, and tonight we have the opportunity to present Shelley with this proclamation. I'll let you hold that.
Okay.
The proclamation reads, whereas since 1986, the United States Department of Defense has recognized the challenges and contributions of military children, as designating April as the month of the military child. And whereas the city of Sun Prairie realizes that the children of military families demonstrate great courage and resiliency as their parents deploy far and near in defense of our state and nation, and students frequently relocate from community to community in support of their families' service to our country. And whereas Wisconsin is home to just under 10,000 children of parents who are military members, those children contribute in significant ways to their families and communities by assuming increased roles of responsibility during the absence of military members. And whereas the city of Sun Prairie is actively working to increase awareness of the military children in our community and actively supporting their physical, social, emotional, and intellectual well-being through responsive programs and activities to encourage their success. And whereas we recognize and celebrate this month, April, the month of the military child and recognize our military children by wearing purple throughout the month of April. Now therefore, I, Stephen C. Stocker, Mayor of the City of Sun Prairie, do hereby proclaim April as Month of the Military Child and encourage the residents of Sun Prairie to wear purple to honor the resilience, the courage, and the contributions of military children throughout our city. So,
Thank you, Steve.
thank you, Shelley. Mark wants to get a picture here. We'll move over. If you want to say a few words. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's a slow one.
Would you let's say
Just a few words.
Sure, go ahead.
First of all, thank you, and it's good to see friends, old and new here. I really appreciate Sun Prairie's strong support. Many of you know that Sun Prairie, part of Sun Prairie was a military housing area for many years. I'm always surprised by the number of younger people who don't realize that. But I am proud to be, my family was military, my dad was military, my family, my siblings and I were all military. We were military children. And having the support of our school district, of our community, of all of you means so much. The other thing, and I noticed that we have the Sunshine Place people here tonight, many people don't realize that many military people have great needs. Right now, 1 in 4 military people are in need of food support. They need to use food stamps, our food pantries, etc. And I couldn't be more proud to live in a community who recognizes the needs of all the people, children and adults, and responds to it. And thank you every year for all you do to support what I do and to support our military children and their families. We have many military people from Wisconsin specifically deployed right now. And so I appreciated that you took time to thank not only them, but also our first responders in the work that everybody does. So thank you very, very much. If I can ever be of service to anybody, please let me know. So thank you very much. That'd be wonderful. I know some of them.
Could I add just a couple comments? Is this the time
Yes,
to do
Cheryl.
it?
Alder Batterman, I should say now, officially.
I am a military child. My father was in the Air Force. My husband is a military child. His father was in the Navy. And I also lived in the military housing the last 4 years of my military career. So I totally understand what she's saying.
Thank you.
Thank your family for the service. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Volunteer Appreciation Week.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Always let me know if I can. Thank you very much.
Letitia.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. Okay, next up, a proclamation very near and dear to my heart. We're going to be recognizing National Volunteer Appreciation Week. We have Sunshine Place and Sunshine Group from the food pantry here to represent. Okay, the proclamation reads, whereas volunteers are the heart and soul of our community, contributing their time, talents, and energy to improve the lives of others and the vitality of our community. And whereas the spirit of volunteerism is a cornerstone of our community, embodying the selfless dedication and compassion of individuals who willingly give their time to support neighbors, schools, hospitals, nonprofits, and civic organizations. And whereas volunteers serve as role models, inspiring us all with their commitment to service and their ability to address critical needs in our community. And whereas the countless hours donated by volunteers contribute, excuse me, constitute a massive investment in our collective future, strengthening the community through services and providing support that is truly immeasurable. And whereas recognizing the efforts of volunteers not only acknowledges their invaluable contributions, but also encourages a culture of giving back, fostering a stronger, more compassionate, and interconnected community. Now, therefore, I, Stephen C. Stocker, Mayor of the City of Sun Prairie, do hereby proclaim the week of April 19th to the 25th, 2026, as National Volunteer Appreciation Week. So thank you for all you do. Yeah, Peter, come on up.
We didn't stay up like this for no reason.
Yeah. You didn't hang out. Here, just get up a little bit further. We don't know how Mark's camera can operate. Okay.
Thank you. I'll do something really quick.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I know it's past everyone's bedtime. I'm ready to go to bed too, don't worry. Okay. Hello, my name is Letitia. I'm the volunteer and outreach coordinator at Sunshine Place for those of who are new and do not know me yet. Thank you so much, Mayor Stocker and City Council, for highlighting National Volunteer Week this week. And a special thank you to Maureen answering my call a couple weeks ago when I was like, do you want to write this with me really quick? Because, always living off the edge. But Sunshine Place is a volunteer-based agency here in Sun Prairie. The hours put in by our volunteers this past year is equivalent to almost 17 full-time staff, which is crazy because we are a staff of 9 to 10, depending on who's full-time and part-time. So over 36,000 hours were donated into the community, and over 447 hours monthly volunteers are donating. So I'm just super grateful for that. It's been amazing to meet a lot of people in the community and then honestly get to know our volunteers at Sunshine Place. I really get to know them more because I know there would be other organizations here in Sun Prairie who could join us. I invited them, but it was very last minute last week. So I'm just going to do a quick shout out just because I know our volunteers at Sunshine Place really well. And I've gotten to know them with just having conversations. So at our front desk at Sunshine Place, we have many Colonial Club volunteers. At the library here in town, we have a couple of volunteers who sit on the board and donate their time and who also deliver meals, and Peter is one of them, and I was going to do a shout out even with not knowing him coming. We also have some volunteers who volunteer with us who also help out with the neighborhood navigators and even helping them run their Laundry Love. So it's been really exciting and grateful for me to learn that there are volunteers donating their time every day here in the community, not only at Sunshine Place, but other organizations, because we desperately need them to keep them going. As you heard, almost 17 staff. Almost 17 staff could be made up of volunteers. So I know at other organizations, they rely on them too. So I'm very grateful for the proclamation and to show our volunteers tomorrow at our volunteer event and talk and take some photos with this proclamation. So thank you so much. As I will always challenge you to come in and volunteer with me. I know some of you have already, but we're always looking for volunteers. So thank you. Sure. We're already here.
Megan, Elena. Okay, next up is a key part of the city organization. We are going to honor Professional Municipal Clerks Week. This proclamation reads, "The office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of our local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and the agencies of government at other levels. And whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. And whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk. Now therefore, I, Stephen C. Stocker, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor on behalf of the city of Sun Prairie, hereby recognize the week of May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Elena Hilby, professional municipal deputy clerks, Aaron Linsmeyer and Megan Meyer, professional municipal clerk assistant, Danielle Wilkin, and all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Thank you on behalf of the city. Congratulations. You gotta come up here, Mark. Mark's trying to camera tonight. I'm sure you want to say a few words.
Oh, thank you. So, thank you, Mayor Stocker, and thank you to the council for this recognition. I'm honored to accept this proclamation on behalf of the city clerk's office and my incredible team. Municipal clerks often work behind the scenes, but our goal is always the same: to support transparent, accessible local government and to help our community stay informed and engaged. So I'm especially grateful for the dedication of my deputy clerks, Aaron Linsenmeyer and Megan Meyer, and our city assistant, clerk assistant, Danielle Wilkin. Their work helps to ensure that the city continues to serve our residents with professionalism and integrity every day. So thank you again for recognizing Professional Municipal Clerks Week and the important role that clerks play in local government. It is truly an honor to serve this community and support the work of this council.
No, you don't have to. Yeah. Yeah, before I get done with proclamations, for full transparency, I want the council to know that last Thursday morning, I had the opportunity and was very grateful to present a proclamation to our public safety telecommunicators down in dispatch as part of the April 12th to April 18th, 2026 Public Safety Telecommuters Week. And for this dedicated staff that sits where nobody can see them, but does the work of keeping us all safe, they're the first contact with the public. I was so proud to be there, and I will have this read into the minutes. Thank you. Put it in the minutes. Thank you. Okay, on to committee reports that we did not get to, and I apologize for the lateness of the hour. Okay, next item, committee reports. Committee of the Whole. Alder Crombie.
Thank you, Your Honor. So what we're doing tonight is we are going to be doing nominations and doing the confirmation of council members and representatives to committees and commissions. So the first one we have is the election of the city council president. Are there any nominations?
I have one.
Oh,
I would like to nominate Alder Owens for the position of president of the council.
okay. Now, we don't need to do a second, so is there any other nominations?
As you all read in my email today, I'll be self-nominating.
Okay. And do we have any other nominations?
And I'll
Alder
also be
Baker.
self-nominating.
Okay. Any other nominations? Okay. So we will close the nominations, and we will need to do a paper vote on those.
Yeah, so Megan is here to help me with that tonight. So she's going to be passing out ballots for everyone. This is a secret vote, so you don't have to write your name on it. You can just cast your vote.
Thank you.
I'm gonna. I gotta fix.
Miss Megan will pick it up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do, but that's not. I'm not sure why.
Do you need a pen?
Mine's
You
dead.
want me to?
Sorry.
Put your name down.
Thank you. Sorry, mine's dead. I'm not sure why. Yeah. Well, that's why you want someone who's experienced in charge. It's working now.
Thank you. All right, so Owens received 4 votes, Jacobs 3, and Baker 1. So that is not greater than half of the council, so we are going to have a second round of voting.
A point of order, or could we have the nominees speak to why they would like to be present? Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'll start with Alder Owens first.
Thank you. So last May, 2024, Mayor Stocker suggested that I should submit my name to serve on the council to fill his one-year term after being elected mayor. And I did that. And on May 6th, this council chose me from among 4 candidates to work with you in this year. Then the first major issue that we had after that was a contribution to the Sunshine Place for their capital project. And I was the alder that insisted that we have public listening sessions on that, which is a brand new approach for this council to take. And once the meeting for District 1 got scheduled, and all the other districts followed, and every district had a session. And that's my style of leadership. to always include the public in major decisions. When I was at the library, I did the same thing there. Many people don't even know that the design of the library was not decided by the library board. It was decided by patrons. We actually brought in 4 architects, put them in a room, had them each give us a design, and for 2 days we invited patrons to come in and vote on which one to get. And that's how we get the current design that we had. So that's always been my approach to things. And I think it's very important at this time, with the referendum has failed, we have to find a way to engage our public in helping us make decisions on the cuts that we're going to have to make. Then in April, I had a challenger, and I won that election by 7 points, which demonstrates, I think, that I do have support within our district. I think it's my way of doing business, and to be frank with you, I tend to gravitate toward this position. I was president of the Dane County Library Board. I was president of the Sun Prairie Public Library Board. And I think I counted in with the library board, I had 96 meetings that I chaired. I also have one qualification that I think is unique, and that is I have experience from both sides of this dais. On the library board, I managed to present 8 budgets to this council. So I know the budgeting system. I know what it's like to be on the side of trying to convince the council of the importance of that particular budget. And out of the 9 years that I served on the library board, 6 of those years were devoted to the renovation of the library that we have now. And as part of that, it took us 18 months to get the approval of this council. The library board presented 3 different proposals, and I testified at every one. So again, it's my style of leadership to be out front and to lead with action more than with leading with words. So I would appreciate your support tonight to serve as president.
Okay, Alder Jacobs.
My style of leadership is to be called to be a leader. I didn't necessarily want to do this. That's not the best sales pitch, I know. But I was asked by a number of staff people. I've been asked over the years a number of times to be the council president, and I haven't had the interest. I just think this is the most challenging time the city has faced, and I think that we need someone who has experience to understand those challenges that we face. You know what? And I know that's not a good sales pitch. Adlai Stevenson famously said, we have a long, hard struggle, and he never won anything because of that. Instead, we want to hear someone who has magic answers, magic beans, and a magic wand. That's not going to work here. And anyone who believes that, it's folly. It's before last year, we never had a person who'd only served 1 year try to make themselves president. Before that, it was probably 2, 3, or more years. I can't speak for anyone here. You must be fast learners, because I can tell you, after a year on the council or less than a year on the council, I certainly didn't feel equipped to lead. I barely feel equipped now.
Okay, thank you, Alder Jacobs. Alder Baker.
I have a statement that I'll read, if that's okay.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you, Council President, Mr. Mayor, and our colleagues. Before I talk about why I'm running, I want to say this clearly. I think the system that we're under right now doesn't work the way it should. And our people during the referendum have actually told us they want more transparency. They want to know exactly what's going on within the council and our city. And so because we don't have a defined process in a way of setting a leadership positions right now, there's no timelines, no expectations, no opportunity for open discussion until now. We end up with last-minute decisions and surprise campaigns. That's not how leadership should be determined. But here we are. So I'm going to be very clear about who I am and how I lead. Over the past 12 months, I haven't waited for direction. I've stepped in where I saw problems and worked to move things forward. But I also want to be clear about something else. I don't do this alone. The best outcomes come when we bring the right people to the table, ask better questions, and work together towards solutions. That's how I lead. We knew the referendum was coming, and we also knew that if it failed, we would need to make adjustments. So I didn't wait. I started immediately looking at our major cost drivers. As a business owner, I approached this through a very simple lens. Where are our largest expenses, and how do we manage them more strategically? In any organization, those tend to be people and insurance. And that's where I focused. Not with the mindset of cutting, but with the responsibility of understanding how we can manage those costs better, improve efficiency, and protect the long-term stability of the city. That work led directly into the health insurance initiative. And again, I didn't do that alone. I brought in Council President Crombie because of her HR background, and together we pushed this forward, and today we have an RFP in place to evaluate brokers and explore a better path. That's what I mean by leadership, knowing when to lead and knowing when to bring others in. Our communications, we all saw what happened during the referendum. Misinformation, confusion, frustration, anger. But I also want to recognize something important. When our mayor, Steve Stalker, created the Ad Hoc Communication Committee to address exactly those challenges. With his support, I leaned into that effort, and at the same time, I didn't wait for a committee report. I went directly to the residents. I had a strong presence on Facebook, and I engaged with people where they were, and I responded to the good, the bad, and yes, even the hateful and the ugly. Not because it's easy, but because it matters. And here's something I think we all need to remember. It's not always the same 10 or 12 people commenting on Facebook that we need to focus on. It's the hundreds, sometimes the 1,000, who are watching, reading, forming their opinions about their council based upon what they see and how we respond. That's the audience we can't ignore. And when things got heated, I worked to deflect harmful and negative comments away from this council, and some of you up here know that exactly. Because whether we agree or not agree, we represent the city together. Direct constituent contact has been a priority for me since day one. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I may have been elected in District 2, but I represent the entire city of Sun Prairie. And leadership also means working with people, even when it doesn't start out that way. I ran for city council against Alder Santiago Rosas. We were opponents, we were adversaries, and at times we got a little tense, I would say, but polite, but tense. Today, we work together respectfully to address the needs of the city and especially District 2. That's what leadership requires, not division, but the ability to move forward together. When a resident brought forward concerns about stop sign violations and pedestrian safety, I didn't forward an email and wait. I went out myself. I counted the vehicles that were running stop signs, and 67 cars, by the way, ignored those stop signs. I brought that to the police chief, and action was taken the very next day and continues today. So if you're on Coubertons, slow down, be careful, and make stops at those stop signs. That's the level of engagement I believe this role requires. Neighborhood Navigators is another example. Understanding its value, especially through our police department, I worked to secure funding for 2026 with everybody here in your approval, and started identifying long-term partners who could sustain or even expand the program. Because leadership isn't just solving problems, it's making sure the program still exists tomorrow. And I'll add one more example of how I lead. As president of the Sun Prairie Lions Club, I don't run the organization alone. I rely on 3 vice presidents and a strong team to make that successful. Because leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about building a team that can deliver results, just like this council that's sitting here. And that's exactly how I would approach the role of council president. And finally, communications in the media center. If we're serious about rebuilding trust, we need strong, consistent local communications. And that's why I continue to support that structure and its future, and I hope you do also. So here's the difference. I don't wait for things to happen, I make them happen. But I also bring people with me. I ask questions, I collaborate, I step in difficult situations, and I stay connected to the residents we serve. We didn't get everything right last year, and the referendum proved that. We failed. But we have an opportunity right now to learn from it, reset, and move forward stronger. We have that connection with the people, and they want to know more. We need leadership that is active, visible, and accountable, and also listens, collaborates, and brings the best of the people around them. That's how I operated this last year. This role requires more than managing meetings. It requires leadership between meetings, and that's how I've shown up in the past year. And that's exactly how I'll serve as your council president if you select me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alder Baker. So we will vote again.
Yeah, it doesn't. This is good. Yes. Thanks. I want your vote.
We could be here all night.
That's a good question. Right. Yes. Yes.
City Attorney, while we're waiting, if we don't get a victor, do we flip a coin?
If there is a tie, we will flip a coin, yes. Otherwise, we will be having an arm wrestling match or some other.
All right, so this vote ended with 4 votes for Owens, 3 votes for Jacobs, and 1 vote for Baker. So we did not reach a majority. And we will need to vote again.
Okay, we will have to vote again. Can I just ask a quick question from all 3 of you? Why do you want to be the president of the council? Alder Baker will start with.
But I think we just went through that.
I know, but I just want to quit. What inspires you? We got to have we have to have something.
I think that we've had, in the last year, we've seen just the strength that this council has. And I think that we can do even more. And I believe that I can help lift that up by pulling each of the different expertises out of each one of you, from the educators that we have in the room, the business people we have here, our administration folks. We can do that. And then also with the relationships that we have with staff.
Okay. Alder Jacobs.
I think I'm experienced and prudent. None of you received phone calls from me. I didn't do any kind of campaigning other than email I sent this morning. We heard 2 of our colleagues here talk about their great accomplishments. I will tell you about my failure. My failure was I didn't successfully convince all of you to wait to give the money to the food pantry until after the referendum. I failed. So I'm going to talk about my failures, not my successes. If you still think that we should have given $1 million, then you should vote for Rex or for Bill. But if you think we should have waited, if you regret that vote, then you should vote for me.
Okay, Alder Owens.
I love a challenge, and we have a challenge right now. And I have a record of accepting challenges in the public realm and being successful with those. And I know I have the skills, the people skills, the organizational skills, the relationship with staff to lead us through that. So I'm ready.
Okay, thank you, Alder Owens. All right.
My hand's getting tired.
No.
Thank you.
All right, and that vote turned out the same way with 4 votes for Owens, 3 votes for Jacobs, and 1 vote for Baker. So we still do not have a majority, and we will vote again. I'm ready for 10 votes.
Great first meeting.
Doing the housing thing tomorrow morning?
Yep. Okay. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got voting until about 7:30 in the morning.
That's fine.
No. I have to leave at 6.
It's not my bedtime yet.
6? Okay, we've got cut off for Cheryl at 6.
And the vote is remaining the same with 4 for Owens, 3 for Jacobs, and 1 for Baker. We do not have a majority, and we will vote again.
I will show leadership here by withdrawing my name.
All right, and so this resulted in 6 votes for Owens and 1 vote for Baker and 1 empty ballot. So Alder Owens wins this election.
Okay, congratulations, Alder Owens. Next will be the nomination for the election of City Council Vice President. Do we have any nominations, Alder Owens?
I nominate Alder Comstock.
Okay, so do you accept that, Alder Comstock? Okay.
Yes.
All right, and any other nominations?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Alder Drexler.
Okay.
Drengler, yeah.
Drengler?
I accept.
And I take it you accept that too,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other nominations for Vice President? Okay, so we have no nominations. Did the two of you, I know I didn't do it the first time with the president, but did the two of you want to just speak on a little bit about why you're going to run for Vice President? Alder Comstock, you can go first.
One of the things that I would like to address is this issue of experience. I believe that experience can be measured in a number of ways. It's not just how many years you've sat in this chair. I am interested in this position because I'm interested in becoming better at what I do, and I believe that this will give me not only the opportunity to share in the leadership and learn about it. I think it will also be a good use of the years of experience that I have had in leadership roles. And I'm running because I think it's important to do that.
Okay, thank you. Alder Drangler.
Yeah, thank you, President Crombie. So the VP's main role is just to be a backup for the president, whoever that is, to step in for meetings should the president be absent or sick or have personal matters to attend to. Why I think I can serve this role very well is that this summer I'm going to become a certified parliamentarian. Elena was kind enough to share with me the course that she took and that other colleagues have taken, and I'm going to take the same course this summer. So I think if that need ever arises where I need to step in, that I could run a meeting very smoothly and stay on task. Second point I'd like to make is that if I can keep 28, 13, and 14-year-olds on task who do not have fully developed prefrontal cortexes, I'm very confident I can keep this group on task and keep meetings running smoothly. So thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you, Alder Drangler. All right, so we're ready to vote.
My apologies.
All right. And the results of that election is 4 for Drangler and 4 for Comstock. So we don't have a majority and we will vote again.
All right. It's going to be a long night. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, we're ready again. Yeah.
Casey,
Getting your steps in.
planning to be gone this summer.
20,000 steps in. The only one.
And the results of this vote is 4 for Drangler and 4 for Comstock. We don't have a majority and we will vote again.
Can I ask them what motivates them? I don't think people want me to ask questions. Okay, I guess we'll need to,
Let me,
3 words.
no, I'm going to have more than 3 words. Alder Drengler, I'd like you to know that 27 middle school kids, keeping them focused, pales in comparison to about 120 faculty members. Try that sometime. Try that sometime.
Agree to disagree.
I don't consider this leadership. This is not an example of leadership. This is doing what's going to be the best for all concerned, because I don't think any of us want to sit here all night. I'm sorry it's turning out this way, but I will defer to Alder Drengler and his 27 middle school students.
Thank you. Thank you, Alder Comstock.
Are you withdrawing?
Excuse me, I'm withdrawing.
All right, congratulations, Alder Drengler. I don't think
Kathleen, we can do this by acclamation at this point.
You could do a vote by acclamation at this point.
I move
so.
that we close nominations and pass a unanimous ballot.
I second.
Now say all in favor.
Well, typically, I don't think we second when it comes to it, but okay.
He
All in
moved.
favor, say
Aye.
Right. Or those not in favor, say nay. Okay. Congratulations, Alder Drengler. Okay, let's move on. The election. Election of city council representatives to the planning commission. Do we have any nominations? I would like to nominate Alder Rosas.
Accept that nomination.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have any other nominations
No,
for
4
the
to 4.
planning commission?
Oh,
All right. I guess that you have won an acclamation. So, yeah. Okay. Election of city council representative to the Sun Prairie Utilities Commission. Do we have any nominations?
I would, if you don't mind, Chair Crombie, I would ask if we could do E before D.
Okay.
And the reason why I ask that is thus far, we've always had someone on the Sustainability Committee on Utilities and somebody on Public Works.
Right.
So I'd like
Yes.
to confirm who will be on Sustainability first.
Okay, sure. So the election of the city council representative to Sustainability Committee. Do we have any
I would like to
nominations?
nominate Casey Drangler.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations?
Madam Chair, could I jump in?
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to answer your question, one of my nominations, pardon?
Did I have a question?
Well, your question as far as putting one before the other.
With the Public Works.
Yeah, my Public Works rep on sustainability is going to be Alder Drengler. That's how I planned it. Alder Drengler will also serve on Public Works. So that might change what you were just saying.
No, that's fine. That's just wanted to make sure. So we have.
Yeah, so Alder Drengler will be our Public Works rep if everything plays out.
Okay. So there isn't any other nominations to the Sustainability Committee, correct? Okay, then Alder Drengler, congratulations. You win by acclamation. So we'll go back to D now. Election of City Council Representative to Sun Prairie Utilities Commission. Are there any nominations?
So unless Alder Drengler wants to do that, then I will unless he wants that, then I will self-nominate.
Okay, Alder Drengler, what would you like to do?
I will make a nomination.
Okay, so Alder Jacobs, are there any, and of course you accept because you're self-nominating yourself.
Well, what do you think?
And do we have any other nominations? All right, congratulations, Alder Jacobs.
Thank
You
you.
won by acclamation. Election of City Council representatives to the Housing Committee. Now, this can be up to 2 members that we can nominate. Alder Rosas.
I'd like to nominate Alder Crombie for Housing Committee.
Okay. Any other nominations? If we don't have any other nominations, will Mayor Stocker then appoint somebody to the housing, or does it have to be?
There do not have to be 2 elders on the housing committee. There can be, but it's not required. You're only required to have 1. The ordinance gives you on interest levels.
Okay, okay. I guess it's myself from acclamation. All right, so we are done with the nominations and the election. So I don't think we need to go any further with this, of course. We don't need to make a formal, because normally we would have done this in cow. Next is consideration, discussion, and possible action on the council rules. These are in your packet. I believe there was
Did we? You went over code of conduct.
Oh, you know what? I'm looking at cow. Thank you. Okay, yes, I apologize for that. The adoption of the code of conduct for elected officials. Staff, I believe we have the code of conduct in our packet, of course. And is there any discussion on this at all, or is there anybody that would like to make a a motion?
I'll move adoption as presented.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the code of conduct for elected officials?
Yes.
Okay, Alder Baker.
Thank you. I've already emailed the suggestions that I had, and I also emailed copies to each of you. And I just think there's some additions that we need, and added language that would really round this out, and make it a stronger document. Again, if we're going to do this, let's do it and do it fully. And our city attorney can help on this if she likes. Page 6, section under council conduct with city staff, where it says never publicly paragraph. The following is there, where it says if there's a concern regarding city administrator's performance, it should be brought to the attention of the mayor, council, or council vice president. What I recommend is we add, if the concern involves potential misconduct, conflict of interest, or matters requiring formal review, the provisions outlined in the sanctions and violations section, including the option for independent review, may be utilized. Want me to keep going?
I would suggest procedurally, just for ease, that if you want to make that amendment, you would make a formal motion to make the amendment. And then if there's a second, there can be a discussion and a vote on each individual piece. I think that's going to be easiest for everyone to keep track of what we're doing if everyone on council is amenable to that.
I have a question, please.
Mm-hmm.
Is that with the details that I put forward to the council earlier, would this be better to table this to be reviewed and then re-presented at the next council meeting?
Based on the information that you did send out, I would like more time to look at it.
Okay.
Because I just got it, this afternoon, and I think we need more time just to look at it. So can we table this? I know we have a motion out on the floor.
You can make a motion to table that would take precedent over a motion that's on the table, and then that would be voted on immediately. So if the goal is to table it to the next meeting, you could do a motion to table until the next meeting, or a motion to postpone until the next meeting, which would be more appropriate.
Okay. Alder Rosas.
I'd like to move that we table this. Oh, postpone. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we have a motion. We don't need a second for that, right?
You need a second, and then it
Oh,
would
we
be
do.
votable.
Okay, I'm sorry.
For table,
Okay.
You don't
Do we have a
any further
second?
discussion of that, I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the tabling is priority. So this will be, you said table to the next meeting, right?
Postpone.
or postpone. I don't know why I'm thinking table.
So a
Postpone.
motion to table is sort of like placing it
Yeah.
on file, like putting it away in a drawer, likely
Okay.
to not be seen again.
Yeah.
A motion to postpone is normally a motion to postpone to a date certain. So that would be like a motion to postpone to the first council meeting in May. That's not a debatable motion, so it's just a straight up or down majority vote.
That's
I-
to table or postpone?
Either.
Oh.
I just noticed that there's somebody that wants to speak that has their hand up.
Yeah, Sunshine has her
By
hand up. I
Anderson.
think, Madam President, or Chair, there's two public comments that need to be made or requested. Sunshine is one, Jules the other. They have listed that they wanted to speak on council rules, which is C, which is coming up. But I'm not sure if the hand up means they also want to speak on this one. So I guess that would need clarification. I went during the break while we're voting and had Sunshine promoted from attendee to panelist. So if you want to call on Sunshine to get clarification, and then also Jewel, I'm not sure, is this the one you want to talk to, Jewel? The next one?
The next one?
Okay.
Okay.
So you might,
Sunshine, is this the one that you want to talk on?
I'm here to speak on council rules. I think that was item 6F,
Oh, okay.
but I saw that in committee
Okay.
of the whole, so I don't
when
know now.
When we get to that, then I will be calling on you.
yeah, that's the next
Yeah.
item.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Okay.
Mhm.
So, we have to,
Yeah, so the
We have to
motion on
vote
the
on this.
table is to postpone to the next meeting. And we can do a voice vote or you can do roll call.
okay, can you do a roll call?
Sure. So I get my list. Sorry. Sorry, close that that window got closed on me. Please hold. Baker,
Aye.
Batterman,
Aye.
Drangler, I'm sorry, Comstock,
Aye.
Drangler,
Aye.
Crombie,
Aye.
Owens,
Aye.
Rosas,
Aye.
Jacobs,
Sure.
Okay.
and that passes 8-0.
All right, so this will be at our next COW meeting. The next one is the adoption of the council rules. So basically, we have the council rules that's in our packet. Is there any, I do have two people that would like to speak on the council rules, so I'm going to allow them to speak first. And if I could get Jewel to come up here,
Let's see.
and if you could just tell us your name and address.
Hi, I'm Jewel Kavanaugh. I live on the 1500 block of St. Albert the Great Drive. This item, generally, the only two beefs I have with it are the first one is moving all of the public comment to the beginning of the meeting. While I recognize that might be time saving for people who don't want to sit through an entire meeting, I do think it's very powerful for citizens to be able to speak when their specific topic is up. One example would be, let's say a development is happening. You're going to have all of the people speak at the beginning of the meeting, and then by the time you get to that actual action item, you're going to have 45 minutes from the developer, 45 minutes from the staff, and you'll have forgotten what constituents have said. And I just really think that rather than being left out of the discussion, we need to be part of it during the agenda item. The second issue that I have is limiting public comment to matters on the agenda. I was part of the communications group ad hoc meeting. That's not what that work group talked about. We talked about more opportunities for engagement. And this is the only opportunity citizens have to talk to all of you at the same time. Otherwise, we've got to make 8 different phone calls, 8 different letters, responding to 8 different people. It would be very nice if we could just speak to you about whatever we want to speak to you about. So I also think that that's a little bit of a pointed thing. I noticed it was kind of slipped in there, and it's all kind of obvious what we're trying to prevent by this. I think we're trying to prevent Sunshine Anderson from coming in and talking about issues that are not on the agenda, and I don't think that's fair or right. Every citizen has a right to speak. Thank you.
Okay. And then we have Sunshine Anderson, and she opposes the request and wishes to speak.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sunshine Anderson at 1442 Thoreau Drive in Sun Prairie's beautiful 3rd District. So my issue that came up with this item lies in one of the proposed changes to the public comment as well. I fully agree that time limits at meetings or at a meeting due to the chair's decision is fair. Condensing the comments to just one period at the start of the meeting, I can see where that reasoning came from with wanting to prioritize people's time and be able to get them in and out. But I do think Jewel raises a really good point about, who gets to be a part of the conversation and are we fully engaging with constituents? But limiting what constituents can comment about to only what is included on the agenda does not sit well with me. In your own code of conduct, it reads, quote, making the public feel welcome is an important part of the democratic process, end quote. And another quote, for many, speaking in front of the council is a new and difficult experience, end quote. I will tell you that I was a competitive speaker in high school. I love to talk, you know this, but I even shake sometimes at that podium, and I'm sure some of you have experienced that. So let's not make showing up to speak a more difficult or less welcoming experience. Although this may be practiced in other communities, this change is counterproductive to your efforts to increase communications and engagement with residents. I only noticed this proposed change because I read the agenda documents, but this change could have sailed through tonight without residents being aware. This is something that directly impacts your residents and makes speaking more daunting. I urge you to remove this particular amendment or table the topic potentially for the night so you can gauge your constituents' thoughts on this change. It is worth mentioning that this has been proposed following my raising concerns at public comment. I should be able to vocally address all of you with my concerns and not be funneled to email only or individual phone calls for issues not on an agenda. Please remove this proposed change to what subjects are allowed during public comment and let the people speak. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Sunshine. All right, let's bring it back to the table here. I know that we have several corrections here. I don't know, Kathleen, if you want to, if there's anything you wanted to report on this, or?
Sure. So I can just real briefly highlight the changes if you would like. And then if you want to vote on this tonight, the best thing to do would be to make a motion to adopt, get a second on that, and then make amendments individually once again. In terms of the council rules, these are ultimately your rules that you use to govern yourself. So they can be whatever you would like them to be. There's nothing that's really prescribed or required to be in here or not be in here. So the main changes, some of which were already highlighted by our speakers, are public input. Our current practice for that is to take input on items that are not on the agenda at the start of the meeting, and then input for agenda items as they arise. This is a little bit unusual, but it's not right or wrong. It's what we've done historically in Sun Prairie. So in the proposed rules, we suggested moving input to the beginning of the meeting with the intention that that would be easier for residents if they needed to duck in or out. In recognition of the fact that, for example, tonight we're here at 8:56 and Ms. Kavanaugh has very patiently waited to be heard on her item. If we had taken that at the start of the meeting, she could have gone home an hour ago if she so chose. We limited it to items on the agenda based on the request of several members of this body. Again, that's up to you as to whether or not you would like to do that. If that is a rule you pass, we would work with the clerk's office to ensure that agenda language was very clear about other ways to communicate with the council on other items. And then the other change we have with respect to public input is not reading written comments into the record. So it's been a practice of this body as well to read your comments into the record, and to kind of say, like, I'm going to read these public comments and let the people hear what's being said. I'm going to share this just so you can see what I'm talking about. You would have seen this at COW, but alas, this brings us to now. So the issue with that is that we have not been consistent in reading all of the comments into the record. We've read some, but not all, at a number of our meetings, which can create a problem in terms of giving residents an equal forum. If Bob Smith puts in a comment and it doesn't get read, and then Juan Cortez puts in a comment and it does get read, there's the perception of like, well, why did my comment get read but not his? So my recommendation would be that we don't read the written comments into the record, because the record as it exists is not the video recording of the meeting, it's the minutes kept by the clerk. And instead we would have the clerk attach all written comments to the agenda packet. So that's the language that's included there. In terms of the consent agenda, our current practice is that it's routine procedural decisions and any alder can remove an item. I included permits as a listed item in here because, for example, right now, if somebody were to apply for a parade permit, Mayor Stocker has indicated that he only wants the itemized things in our current council rules to be included. I don't know that we want to like vote up or down on every single parade permit or street opening permit or things of that nature. There's also language that the committee chair can direct other items to the consent agenda. So for example, if we're at finance committee and we have a very routine item updating the year in a grant policy or something like that, that could then be directed to the consent agenda. Any alder would still be able to individually remove an item from the consent agenda. And we added language here as well that the mayor will poll the council regarding removal of items, which has been a standard practice of Mayor Stocker. But that way you can ensure that if you wanted to have something removed, you would have that extra opportunity on the agenda. The other changes are related to referrals. So you are not required to have referrals. Again, it's been a long-standing practice of this body, but it's not required by ordinance or state law. Right now, there is an expectation that any referral requires action on the part of staff. I'm proposing a practice that we change where we actually include referrals as a codified thing in the rules, and then any alder may request that council take an up-down majority vote on whether or not a referral should be acted upon. So if there's a concern that there's a referral being made by one alder and the other 7 of you are like, there are no circumstances under which I would vote for that, then you could have the body take a referral and staff would not need to act until or unless that vote was approved by a majority vote. One other point I do want to note as a recommendation is that referrals are, in our rules, a matter of citywide importance. So for example, if we did a referral to evaluate sidewalks or pass a nonprofit policy, that would be appropriate to do as a referral, or to evaluate garbage pickup. That's something that is of citywide importance. It affects everyone who lives here. If it's a situation where you have one resident who is upset that their garbage didn't get picked up, that could likely be more quickly resolved by reaching out to somebody in Public Works and getting it addressed right away, rather than waiting for council to make a referral. So I say that as a reminder, just so that we can make sure that we're serving constituents as promptly as possible, and that there's an understanding that you don't have to wait for council to ask staff to act on something as straightforward as like why didn't someone's garbage get picked up? Hey, somebody has a street light out that they'd like addressed. The other change that we did make was regard to the public records law. So there's already language in there about using city devices for city communication. We're clarifying that that requirement is because that allows you to comply with Wisconsin's open records law, because our IT department will be archiving your calls, your texts, and your emails. Your calls are not recorded, but the call existing would be logged. If you choose to use a personal device or a personal social media account to communicate about city business, it's your job to retain those records as an individual alder, and your job to produce those whenever requests are made. So we want to just clarify that in the rules so that it's clear that that's everyone on council's understanding, that if you're choosing to use those personal means of communication, you are responsible for retaining that record for 7 years. So those are the changes as they sit. If you want to take action on them tonight, again, there would be a motion to adopt the rules. That would require a second, and then any amendments you wanted to be made could be taken up individually.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Okay, what do we want to do up here?
I'll make a motion to accept the rules.
Okay, do we have a second to accept the rules?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the rules and a second. So any discussion at all? Alder Drangler?
I was going to make a motion, but I can wait for the discussion.
I don't know, do we have any discussion? Okay, Alder Jacobs?
I have multiple issues, some of which have already been voiced. I will start in number 5. says Common Council and all boards, committees, and commissions may allow for public input. I don't think it should say may. I think it should say will. This is something that we should be required to do for the very point that a citizen made earlier tonight.
You said that was number 7?
No, number 5. I'll get
Five.
I'll
I'm
get to
sorry.
7. I'll get to
Okay.
7. It was 4. It is now 5. That's what
Yes.
it's listed as. Also, it is also a fact that we have to be open to hearing whatever citizens want to talk about. If they want to come and talk about the glories of parasailing, we need to be open to that. That's common practice across the United States. I would not want to be the exception to that. And finally, also the point is made, and I'm sorry that I don't recall when we made that change. But at one point we did give comments at the time that, for example, developments were given. I'm not sure. Did we move that to the beginning, or is this is a proposal right now to move it to the beginning?
The current practice has been that we take public input for items not on the agenda at the start of the meeting. And then we take public input for items that are on the agenda as that item is
Okay,
called.
just want to make sure. So I don't support that change either, because it then leaves the citizens who are interested in that topic blowing in the wind while discussion happens between the council and the developer, where, as we all know, even if we move that, the citizens aren't invited in that discussion at all. So at least they need to have proximity to the discussion. On item 7, it says, an item arising out of committee may be placed on the consent agenda at the direction of the committee chairperson. I can see Casey, the future or already sustainability coordinator, slipping in that we will go completely solar by 2029 on the consent agenda, and no one really looking at that. I don't think we need to give that kind of power. I think all things need to be discussed openly. Then it can be decided whether or not it goes on the consent agenda. But we shouldn't give chairs power to just place things on the consent agenda.
Alder Jacobs, if I may, on that point, just to be clear,
Yeah.
the consent agenda needs to be set prior to the meeting, so we can't move items onto the consent agenda at a council meeting.
Oh, okay.
So the theory there is like sustainability would discuss an item, and let's say that it's a unanimous vote.
Okay.
Casey still has the ability then to recommend that be placed on the consent agenda, but any alder would have the ability to say, nope, I want this pulled off and I want to have a full discussion
I
of that.
understand. I understand. I still don't approve.
That is absolutely fine. You are
That's
allowed
just,
to not approve.
That's just myself. And number 8 on the referrals, that requires a majority. I think I would compromise and say requires 2 people, so we don't have one just rogue person just calling for things to be done. But a majority, I mean, you may never get something referred if you need a majority. And I'm thinking about a bike path in District 3 about 9 years ago that I couldn't have gotten the majority of the council to have engineering look at it. You know what I'm saying? They weren't going to spend a nickel to see an earthquake. There's no way they were going to put, if they could. So theoretically, you could stop anything from being referred, and that's a mistake. I mean, that's really probably the most important power that individual council has, is that they can ask staff to look something up. And I understand why you might say, yeah, I have to have at least one person backing you up, but I'm just talking to my colleagues here. I think it's a mistake to call for a majority, because we're going to end up voting on whether or not to have a referral. I mean, well, those are my views on those items that I don't approve of any of those.
Sure. So if you wanted to make any amendments as to any or all of those, I'd be happy to help you craft those on the floor tonight. I guess one other point I do want to make is that once we send the packets out on Thursday, the items are kind of set. So if I receive changes or suggestions from you after that Thursday agenda is out, I'm going to suggest that we incorporate those into the meeting, because I don't want to be in a position where I'm getting conflicting changes from 2 different alders and I'm not sure which one to make. And I think that's going to be a practice the majority of staff will continue to follow as well. Of course, you're always free to make amendments to anything we bring before you, but that way each of you gets an equal kick at the cat. And it's not like, well, Crombie's got included, but Rosas's didn't. Why?
Alder Comstock?
I guess on number 8, it's not. I think I'm reading it in different ways, and I would like it explained. The meaning isn't clear. It's not clear to me, and the way I'm reading it is that an alder cannot make a referral to staff without a majority vote.
Sure. So the intention in drafting this is that any alder is still free to make a referral. So Alder Owens could make a referral that we install a water slide at City Hall. And if none of the rest of you speak up, we will investigate the feasibility of how we would install a water slide at City Hall. If, on the other hand, Alder Crombie is like, oh, I don't like that idea, my residents won't support this, she could then say, you know what, that's an interesting referral. I'd like to have council call for a vote on this issue. And then council would vote as to whether or not you wanted staff to investigate whether or not we should have a water slide at City Hall. If, on the other hand, Alder Rosas does a referral where he indicates that he wants to investigate the feasibility of refuse pickup being biweekly or something like that, then all of the rest of you are like, you know what, that's a good idea. We should look at that. Nobody will speak up and that referral will carry forward still. So again, this is totally up to you as to how you wish to handle this. There are still other ways to get things placed on committee agendas by reaching out to the committee chair. If you want to keep referrals, that's absolutely your will as a legislative body. I think the goal in including this language from the parts of the elders who requested it was to ensure that if one elder made a referral that they knew nobody else would support, they would have the ability to kind of call the question on that referral before staff wasted or went down a rabbit hole of spending, 50 hours of time concocting the answer to that referral and bringing it back.
What brought this about?
This was requested by more than one alder because of several of the referrals that have been made recently. And I don't want to speak for any of those individual alders. So if you would like to out yourself and speak to that, that's fine. But I included this upon the request of more than one alder.
Was it a majority?
It was not a majority.
Thank you.
I also did not create a walking quorum and poll all of you. So it was only those who brought it forward who shared their opinion.
So who are the alders that requested it and why? You had more than one. They're not being very vocal. Who requested it, and why did you request it?
I was one that requested it.
Why?
Because it was already in our rules, and it made sense to have another alder look at it. I mean, I think I did. I wanted, when it comes to referrals, I wanted it to be referred by two alders.
You and I had the conversation about having a second with the theory that, you would likely be able to get the other alder from your district to support you more than likely. But then also that it wouldn't be one alder sending people on a rabbit hole if there were going to be 7 other staff or 7 other alders who said, I'm not going to support that. I did also have a meeting with Alder Owens and Alder Comstock. You were in that meeting as well, where we had a conversation about rule changes. And this was one of the changes we discussed in that meeting.
Yes, we did, but I wasn't in favor of it.
And you are absolutely free to not be in favor of it.
Yeah, and no, and I'm asking now who wanted it changed and why? Who wants there to be support on a referral, and why do you want that?
Alder Owens.
I can respond to that. The reason I asked for this request was because it seems to me it's the council that makes referrals, not always an individual. And before we either have staff or other committees work on something, it seemed to me we ought to get the support of the council to make sure that's the direction we want to go. That was my rationale.
But not everybody on the council necessarily agrees. So if you have something that you feel somebody needs to work on, you can't. The way you're saying this is that the whole council has to agree that needs to happen. You just can't do that yourself.
I think we should.
My suggestion is yes, if the council would vote on it, it would be a majority vote.
I guess what I'm wondering, and I don't mean to argue, but it feels to me as if if I have constituents come to me and are concerned about something, it's not something I can get an answer to. I'll make a referral. But what you're saying is that doesn't matter if I have constituents that want have an issue that I need to have referred to. I have to get all of you to agree.
Yeah, I think when we had talked about this, Kathleen, it was just one other referral besides yourself. I didn't realize that we had to get all. Or you know what I mean?
Yep. So your recommendation, Alder Crombie, which is accurate, restating our conversation, was that you would need to get a second on a referral. So there wouldn't be a vote. It would be, Alder Rosas does a referral that he wants to investigate the water slide. And Alder Owens is like, yes, love that idea. I'm seconding it. Under your proposal, that would be sufficient to then have the referral be investigated and reviewed by staff. So Alder Comstock, I think to your point, if that's the direction council chooses to go, you would then likely, if you had a constituent services issue, be able to reach out to your counterpart in District 4 now that you have one again and say, Alder Vatterman, are you willing to also second this with me?
So I'm going to have to go out and find somebody to support before I bring it here.
If I could,
I just don't. Well, go ahead. I mean, if that's what everybody wants, that's fine. I'm just not going to support it.
yeah, I think the principle involved, if I could help Alder Comstock, is that the staff time is all of the city councils, right? We work for the body, and so if we have 9 individual elected officials making their own referrals, we're eating up a ton of staff time that may be one person's issue. And so what I think the motive is on the part of the body, and as Kathleen is working on it, is that there at least be some level of support. And the current policy is that it's 2 alders need to come forward. We just have not been following it. We've allowed 1 alder to say, I want staff to work on this thing, as monstrous as it may be, as many hours as it may take up. I want that done. And what we're essentially saying is the current rule is should be 2. We haven't been following it. If we want to go even broader than that and have it be a majority, fine. But I think that's the principle involved, is that it is the body's staff time. It should not be eaten up on one individual elected official's item, whatever that item is.
Yeah, and again, these are your rules, so you're free to make them say whatever you want. And so I think if there's a decision made tonight that you want to go with, we don't want to require a second on a referral at all. We want referrals to have a second, but they don't need a vote, or there's no ability to call for a vote, or we don't want to have referrals, or we want to make a referral with just 1 alder. That's fine. That's your choice. Ultimately, we work for you as a legislative body, as Aaron just stated, and it's your decision as to what you want us to be spending time on. So if we have a referral from 1 alder to investigate something, and that's going to take 75 hours of staff time, and you want that to be okay, then we can continue on as that exists. If before we do it, you want to have the assent of either someone else on council or the majority of council, that's absolutely fine too. These are 100% your rules. I don't think we have a dog in this fight as staff at all. These were changes that were suggested to me throughout conversations, but I will do what I am directed to do because these are your rules, not mine.
So as I understand it, then the referral I made on the nonprofits was not a legal referral, was not an appropriate referral, and you've spent a lot of time on that. But there wasn't anybody else around here who said, yeah, that's good, let's do that. Nobody else did.
But I think if we would have, one of us would have seconded.
That doesn't make it illegal. They just pursued it. They thought it was a good idea, and they pursued it. They didn't have to.
But what I'm hearing is that the rules say there needs to be support for a referral.
The current rules say 2. There has to be 2, but we have not operated under those rules. We've been allowing 1. And so this is your opportunity to reset the table and say, did you mean 2? Do you want it to go back to 1? Obviously, there's some support, some interest in going to a 5 vote. But I do think it's appropriate for the body to look at how staff time is spent. It's not limitless. You know, whether people are on salary or they're not, there's only so much time in the day that people are going to devote to work. And so it is prudent for the body to think about how work gets initiated. And evaluate that, whether you're happy with 1 or you're happy with 2 or you're happy with 5.
And
well, I'm sorry, but I guess what I'm going to do, that was a referral that was made by me.
Yep.
There was nobody else around this table who said, yeah, that's a good idea. I will support that. Yep. The rule requires that the support needed to be there, but in the absence of getting any kind of in-service on how to make referrals, that's what I did, and it was wrong. So I'm going to ask that my name be removed. Every time I see it, it's the first thing on it is referred by Alder Comstock. Get that off of there.
So I do want to be clear that that wasn't an unlawful referral. If you had asked staff to take an illegal action, we would have politely redirected you. We have an issue here where our ordinances and our rules are actually somewhat in conflict because the ordinances are requiring a second to the extent that they require anything for rules. Our rules have not. And so I think this is your opportunity as a body to decide what do you want to do. I mean, there are referrals that take an inordinate amount of staff time. I had a referral that took me over 80 hours of investigatory time. And I will be fully transparent because I think the emails on this have already been records requested. If not, I know that they will be. That several of you emailed me after that referral and said, I'm sorry you had to waste your time on this. So I think we're in a position here where you as the legislative body have the ability to make a change if you want to. If you don't want to make a change, you do not have to. These are your rules to do with as you see fit.
It's just me. I mean, I don't like it. I don't want it that way, but I think everybody else does, and they can vote on it. But I would respectfully request again, get my name off of there.
Okay, Alder Drangler.
Yeah, just where I land on this, I think that requiring majority vote is, I would be against that. However, I'm open to like a second. I think a second would be reasonable because I do see the situation where I have confidence in everyone up here today, but there could be a situation in the future where maybe someone puts in a referral to close down our police department or something. They would at least need a second before city staff would waste time on such a proposal.
I second. I just want to see if you're listening.
So I think
Lock it up, Chief. I guess.
Leave the keys on the counter.
so if that's the approach we wanted to take, I think what we could do is have someone on this body, if you so chose, make a motion to say that you wanted to amend that rule from how it currently reads in the proposed council rules to instead have it be what's now numbered as rule number 8. Referrals to the staff may be made by any member of the council for matters of citywide importance. Every referral will require a second prior to requiring staff to act. And then the remainder of that sentence would remain as presented. If someone wanted to make that motion, that's an option you could have. Or if you don't want to, again, these are your rules. We don't have a dog in this fight.
Alder Drangler.
So just to be clear, I would either support keeping it how we've been doing it with any alder can make a referral or having a second. I'd be good with either way. But I guess just to see where everyone's at, I'll go ahead and make the motion that we require a second for referrals.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Discussion.
So we have any discussion? Alder Jacobs.
Just
I
to
didn't
make it
see your
clear,
hand
I liked the diction that Kathleen had just used, and I think it's for the second. It's the key words is requiring staff to act. Staff can still act on a single referral, but the requirement needs to. Just so we're clear on that. I like the diction used, Kathleen.
All right. So Alder Baker.
And just a comment to Alder Comstock is that, we've been operating that way with a single referral, but as far as I can remember, it's gone back years like that. It's never, I don't recall a second by any referral. So again, I always throw back, it's that education that, that's in that Alder handbook that I'm waiting for. But I understand the way you're feeling right now about this, and I would ask you not to be that way. Keep your name on there. That was a good referral.
It was not done appropriately.
Well, actually,
as we knew it was.
We didn't follow our own rules.
Yeah, we weren't
The
following.
rule was there.
I
we
want to
didn't
be
follow it.
abundantly clear that the rules that you adopted in 2025 do not require a second for referrals. There's language elsewhere in Title II that requires a second for referrals. We have not been following that language for probably at least 15 years.
Right.
So I think is, a point of clarity. Again, these are your rules. It's up to you how you want to do it. Any adopted policy is not going to say why it was created, so your name won't be on the permanent nonprofit policy as, the MLA Comstock nonprofit policy. It's just going to say city nonprofit policy.
I just remove my name, please. Thank you.
No.
Okay, so we have a motion
Can I object?
and a second to adopt these council rules, but then we also have an amendment to leave out or to have 2 referrals, correct?
To require a second for
Require
a referral,
a second referral,
instead of
right.
voting by
Instead of
majority.
1.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Any other discussion? Alder Jacobs?
I've got several amendments. If you were, yeah. Item 5, I'd like the first sentence, the word may change to will.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want to vote on that or if you want me to repeat the other ones that I had.
So just to be clear, we still have the initial amendment on the table that has not yet been voted on. And for procedural clarity for all of you, because it is late and I am sure you are tired, I think it would be a good parliamentary best practice to vote on the current motion on the table, which was a motion to amend regarding referrals.
Oh, okay.
Of the policy
Yeah,
as presented. Sure. And then we can certainly move forward with more amendments if you would like to.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's vote on that then.
Okay, so the motion is on amending it to require a second for a referral. Baker,
Aye.
Batterman,
No.
Comstock,
Abstain.
Crombie,
Aye.
Drengler,
Aye.
Jacobs,
Aye.
Owens,
Aye.
Rosas,
No.
and that motion passes 5-2 with one abstention.
Okay. So Alder Jacobs, did you have another?
Number 5, I'd like to change the word may to will.
Okay.
First sentence.
Second.
Well, I don't know if everyone agrees with all the things, but
So
then
just for clarification, so everyone's clear, this will then say the Common Council and all boards, committees, and commissions will allow for public input whenever it is noticed on the agenda to make that first initial change. I just want to be transparent with the council. I proposed this individually on my own. And the reason in doing so is when the Police and Fire Commission conducts interviews for preliminary interviews, they conduct interviews with like 40 to 45 people. They have to technically gavel into open session in order to do that. So they're required to have public input on the agenda. Now, that being said, under this rule, they'll still be required to have that. No one has ever shown up that I'm aware of, and it's unlikely anyone ever will. But that's the type of thing I was thinking of. So just for transparency's sake as to where this came from, that was my proposal, and that's why I made it.
fair enough. Let me straw poll in the back. Do either of you care about that either way? They don't care either way.
One of us goes down. Fire chief, what do we?
I was like, I know there have been a lot of concerns about transparency. I just want to be clear, like that one just came from me, and that was why. So.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, but I just want to make sure that in all of the cases we have it, and it would be rather funny if someone ever did show up to one of those, because they would know about it anyway, but okay.
Question, please. Madam City Attorney.
Sure.
Should we address that entire paragraph, or do you want to go sentence by sentence?
You are free to make motions as you see fit. So this one was just for that first will. I'm fine if we want to go with a paragraph if Alder Jacobs is open to a friendly amendment to figure out what we want all of that to say. So that's up to you. It
Well,
might be
I
cleanest
want
to
the
go.
second sentence eliminated.
Okay. So that would then say the Common Council and all boards, committees, or commissions will allow for public input whenever it is noticed on an agenda. So frankly, we could probably strike the whenever it's noticed on agenda, and it could just say will allow for public input, since it would always be noticed.
And
If we could strike the sentence second per your request, and then the third sentence, which is written public input or comments will not be read into the record, but will be attached to the minutes of the meeting by the city clerk, would remain.
I want that scratched as well. The written public comments input will not be read. I do want them read into the record.
So you just want not scratched.
Yeah, not to be off.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you want that scratched, I would suggest that we say will be read into the record. If that's going to be our practice, that's fine, but then we should make sure that everyone's are read into the record and not selective people's.
Absolutely agreed.
Okay, so then I would say the Common Council and all boards, committees, and commissions will allow for public input. Written public input or comments will be read into the record. And leave it at that.
Okay.
I do want to be clear that the practice of reading it into the record at the meeting, again, is not going to be in the official minutes. We don't put all of those comments attached to the minutes, which are the true record. So that just means that the comments will be read and will be visible on video.
Okay, I might be too tired to understand what you just said, but what I wanted to make sure of is when people fill out forms that they don't want to speak, but they want that, I want that publicly read is what I'm saying.
Okay, and that's absolutely fine. So I think then what we would simply say is written public input or comments will be read into the record.
That's okay.
And the question is, why aren't they attached to the minutes?
I think that would be any emails that are put into the JOT form to answer your question, City Administrator Oppenheimer, or any slips that are handed in at the meeting. So I do want to point out, and you guys are free to do whatever you want here, that like for the Derby District, if you receive 75 or more emails, we would be sitting here reading each of those at the meeting.
I know it's regrettable, but I think it's important. Yeah. And my last change, as you know, I said I wanted the second sentence of item 7 scratched.
Yep, and I did strike that entirely. So
Okay, thank
it would be the Common Council and all boards, committees, and commissions will allow for public input. Written public input or comments will be read. I would suggest we change it to read at the meeting, so it is clear that there's not like a record that those are getting attached to.
That's my motion.
Okay.
Do we have a second then?
Second.
Okay.
Oh.
Nice job on it.
If there's no Alder Owens.
So, Alder Jacobs, I'm not sure that we're achieving what you want by doing it that way, because if those comments are not part of the official record of the minutes, we've allowed people to come in and talk, and then it blows away off into the nether. It's gone.
I'm sorry, I've kind of lost what you were saying. I don't understand what you're saying.
By the way this, as I understand it, by the way this amendment is now read, people could come in and make comments, but they will not be part of the official record.
So the way the minutes are generally kept right now, so Sunshine Anderson and Jewel Kavanaugh both just gave public input. I'll use them as examples. I know they are fairly regular commenters and watchers, so hopefully they don't mind that. So the clerk's minutes would simply note public input was given by Sunshine Anderson. Public input was given by Jewel Kavanaugh. The mayor then read public input by so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. The nature of that comment is never recorded in the official minutes. That's not a standard minute trading practice. Elena and I actually train other clerks on how to take minutes, and you don't take verbatim like transcript, court report, or minutes of council meetings. You take record of official action. So there's a list of who came to give public input, but we don't put like Steve Stocker gave public input and said, yes, I really want that water slide at City Hall. In fact, I volunteered a lifeguard for it. We don't include that specific language in the minutes. So to the extent that they're being read, all of you on council will hear them, which I think was your concern, Alder Jacobs. But to Alder Owens' point, when we say we're reading something into the record, there is no record it's getting read into, which is why I made the change to say written public input or comments will be read at the meeting. So I think that accomplished your goal of making sure everyone hears all of the written comments.
That does accomplish my goal. Yeah.
But the comments are not going to be incorporated verbatim into any minutes kept by our clerk.
Okay.
Okay. I have a question. Being the new kid on the block, when we talk about public comment, are we talking about emails that we are receiving from the public about a topic, and that's what will be read at the meeting?
So we're talking about specifically people who submit a JOT form. So there's some people who might choose to email one individual alder or all of you as a body and offer their thoughts. We also collect like official public comment on a JOT form that's out there on all of the meeting agendas. So people can choose to show up and speak in person. They can choose to speak virtually, or they can say, I am not going to attend the meeting and I don't want to speak, but I want to make sure you all know that I support the water slide, or I think this is the dumbest idea in the entire world. So we would be reading those comments into the record that were officially logged into that JOT form, which are also emailed to all of you as they're submitted. But we are not going to read like every email that's sent to a member of council.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so are we ready to vote on the amendment then? I think everybody's out of it tonight. Okay, so can you please read the roll?
Yes. Baker,
Aye.
Batterman,
Pass.
Comstock,
Abstain.
Crombie,
I'll pass.
You got me, Ken.
Drangler,
Aye.
Jacobs,
Aye.
Owens,
Aye.
Rosas,
I pass.
Batterman,
No.
Crombie,
Aye.
Rosas,
No.
and that item passes 5-3. 5 to 2 with one abstention.
Okay. So do we have any other amendments we want to make on this? Okay, if we don't have any other discussion, we have the original motion that's on the table.
Which would now be to adopt the rules as amended.
Right, yes. So,
Say that again, please.
The motion on the table was to adopt the rules, and then you voted on the amendments. So those amendments which passed, the motion is now to adopt the rules as amended. So the rules, including the amendments that you just adopted.
Aye. No, I'm jumping the gun.
can you please read the roll?
Yes. Baker,
Aye.
Batterman,
Aye.
Comstock,
No.
Crombie,
Aye.
Drengler,
Aye.
Jacobs,
Aye.
Owens,
Aye.
Rosas.
Aye.
That passes 7 to 1.
Okay. Next thing on the agenda is budget amendment for the 2025 year end. So basically, earlier this evening, we discussed this, and staff is requesting that we approve a year-end budget amendment for $4,741,992, and of this total, $129,000 is within the general fund. I'll make a motion that we approve this.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, can you please read the roll?
Baker,
Aye.
Batterman,
Aye.
Comstock,
Aye.
Crombie,
Aye.
Drengler,
Aye.
Jacobs,
Aye.
Owens,
Aye.
Rosas,
Aye.
and that passes 8-0.
Okay, finance.
Thank you. That was a long committee of the whole, but thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your diligence. Okay, on to finance. Alder Rosas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a write-off delinquent ambulance or receivables. The City Account's receivable policy requires a committee approve to write off disciplined accounts receivable that have been deemed uncollectible and over $500. The Finance Department has attempted to collect the balance of the ambulance fee due for the accounts listed below. Statutes prohibits collection of disciplined ambulance bills that are over 6 years delinquent. Some debts are passed back to the city by our collection agency for various reasons. These reasons include the individual is deceased, bankruptcy or filed, or they are deemed uncollectible by the Department of Revenue. And I move approval for that.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. Hearing none, since it involves money. Elena, please.
Baker,
Aye.
Batterman,
Aye.
Comstock,
Aye.
Crombie,
Aye.
Drengler,
Aye.
Jacobs,
Aye.
Owens,
Aye.
Rosas,
Aye.
and that passes 8-0.
Okay, next item.
Mr. Mayor, would you like me to read the resolution on these?
It's up to you, however you want to present it.
Is it okay with the council if I just approve the revised grant application policy? And
Everybody's had a
Approval.
chance to read it, so if there's any,
I'm sorry.
everybody should have had a chance to read it. So,
Okay.
yes, if you
Okay,
want to do
move
that.
approval.
Okay, now we'll open up for discussion. Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, on to the operating results.
This is C, is that correct? I'm getting tired here, excuse me. Approval of the year-end operating results. Staff recommends the Common Council move to approve the 2025 year-end operating results. I move approval.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that's done with finance, but not done with our agenda. Okay, on to Personnel Committee. Alder Owens.
I'm going to do what Alden Rosas just did. I'll just move approval and recommendation for the 3 positions.
Okay.
Second.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Back to Alder Rosas, Plan Commission.
This will be the first reading. I thought that'll be Josh. I beg your pardon. I am getting tired.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
You look nice tonight, Josh.
Thank you.
Josh has been online, I've seen.
Hello again. Yes. Hey, I paid good money for this jacket.
Mine was a genuine comment or compliment.
It's a new meeting.
So this is an item that has your first reading for the proposed ordinance amendment to allow accessory dwelling units in the city of Sun Prairie. It was recommended with modifications unanimously by the Plan Commission. And you're welcome for any questions.
Alder Batterman.
I have a question on the ordinance. If I'm reading this correct, where it's the city of Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, whatever, the official ordinance. It says, with the exception of a commercial apartment or accessory dwelling unit of this section, in no instance shall an accessory building, tent, vehicle, or trailer be used as a residence.
Yes.
So you can't reside in an accessory building?
No, not legally. So that's the reason for it saying, except for an accessory dwelling unit. An accessory building otherwise would be like a garage that doesn't have heating, cooling,
okay.
plumbing, etc.
Thank you.
So in order to be a legal dwelling unit, it must meet the requirements in state code of what defines a dwelling. So plumbing, sleeping area, ventilation, things of that nature.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other questions? Since this is a first reading, we will move on to the next one. Alder Rosas. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the resolution approving a conditional use permit, CUP, for a Julian H. Tattoos, LLC, located at 120 Jackson Street. The property's zone is urban conditional, commercial, I beg your pardon, UC, and the total establishment was allowed as the conditional use in the UC zoning district, and caveat that they are at least 1,000 square feet away from the other tattoo establishment. To the best of the staff's knowledge, the tattoo establishment nearest is 120 Jackson Street is on Emerald Terrace and over 1,800 feet away. I move approval.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. We do have the applicant who's been hanging out with us in the audience, Mr. Hernandez, if you have any questions. Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Same sign. Okay, Mr. Hernandez, you're good to go. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, next item, Public Safety Committee. I want to say there's nothing on the agenda, but I failed to recognize Jewel Kavanaugh, who was in the audience. Jewel has been appointed to the Public Safety Committee. Okay, on to Public Works. Alder Comstock.
I believe these are going to be presented to you by Tom Bice. And I see he's awake now, so.
Better him than me.
Welcome, Tom. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. These are CIP street projects awarded at Public Works Committee last week. We finalized contracts with the low bidder, and they've signed those contracts, and this is the formality of us approving those contracts. This project in particular gets started next week here, so hopefully it can be approved, and if not, we'll adjust. But nothing really to report under bid or under budget, currently. So excited to get started with this project.
Good, thank you, Tom.
Happy to answer any questions.
Sure, Alder Batterman.
I would just like to say thank you for answering all of my questions.
Anytime, yes, you bet.
Okay, any other questions? Entertain a motion. There's a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Elena, please read the roll.
Baker,
Aye.
Batterman,
Aye.
Comstock,
Aye.
Crombie,
Aye.
Drangler,
Aye.
Jacobs,
Aye.
Owens,
Aye.
Rosas,
Aye.
and that passes 8-0.
Okay, thank you. Next item.
Oh, that would be,
No, it's Alder Comstock. We have another one for
oh,
Montana.
Yeah, no, Tom's going to present this as well.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
Similar process, different project. This is Montana Avenue, Walmart Drive reconstruction in the Royal Oaks subdivision, as well as the Main Street sidewalk work being done. Not the downtown Main Street, the other parts of Main Street with the crosswalks that need to be repaired. So again, project award with S&L Underground. They've done plenty of work here in the city, and happy to answer any questions you may have on this contract.
Okay, any questions?
Move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Do I hear a second? Thank you. Tom, I just want to say thank you to you and your staff. I know this is a big undertaking, getting these off the ground and ready to go for this summer. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean.
Okay.
Mr.
Helena.
Mayor, I think
Yes.
also on these bids that came in, they actually came in under the market
Right.
value of what
Yeah.
was estimated by engineering. I mean,
Yeah. That was very, yeah.
Thus, my questions.
Okay, Elena, since this has a fiscal impact, would you please take the roll?
Baker,
Aye.
Batterman,
Aye.
Comstock,
Aye.
Crombie,
aye.
Drangler,
Aye.
Jacobs,
Aye.
Owens,
Aye.
Rosas,
Aye.
and that passes 8-0.
Thank you. On to Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Commission, Alder Crombie.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have one item, consideration, discussion, and possible action on a renewal of a memorandum of understanding with the Sun Prairie Piranhas swim team. This was actually voted unanimously to accept. Our city attorney has also approved the MOU. It's a 5-year term with an option for renewal upon mutual agreement. The MOU is in our packet, so I'm going to make a recommendation that we approve and adopt the renewed 5-year memorandum of understanding with the Sun
Second.
Prairie Piranhas swim team.
Okay.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Alder Batterman.
I had several phone calls, conversations with Chad Shelton about this, once again being the new kid on the
Mhm.
block. And I was concerned about, were we tracking in-kind donations that the city is investing versus just expenses and revenues? And he assured me that it is all appropriately documented and that the expenses from the city are covered by the participants in this program.
Mhm.
And that was the main gist. It took a while to get to it, but I appreciated him being patient with me.
Yeah, this program has been around for a long time.
Right. Yeah. How do we handle typos when we see these, like this memorandum of Do we just tell somebody or?
So the easiest way to do it is to just let staff know, and we can hopefully make an edit and swap the memo. Well, I don't like to make a substantive change to an item.
okay.
I think it's okay if we, manage to spell our own name wrong or something. You just let us
Right.
know.
Got it.
Otherwise, if you just want to point it out to us after adoption, we can do a scrivener's correction on those.
Okay.
But you have to do it publicly at council. Call out the typos.
No,
You don't have to, nor is there a prize for most typos caught.
And it needs a second.
Well, I didn't
Note
call
that
out my
Jacob
name
said
being
that, not
spelled
Baker.
wrong earlier.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the MOU for the piranhas, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Okay, on to new business. Resolution approving the application for a Class B fermented malt and intoxicating liquor license for Eddie's Ale House located at 238 East Main Street. And before we get into that, I want to recognize Dan Calise, who will be retiring. And Dan has had a significant role in the growth of this city, from the Historical Museum, from the Historical Society, and many, many committees, commissions. So I want to recognize Dan and thank him for all he's done for our city. Lena.
So this application is being brought forward because the establishment has new ownership. The alcohol license must then be issued in the name of the new owner. So all of the background checks and inspections have been done. No concerns were communicated with us, so staff would recommend approval of this license.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Same sign. Thank you. Okay, next item, approval of a development agreement for Smith's Crossing McCoy Edition Phase 12. Josh is in the audience to answer any questions. Would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? Any questions for Josh? Okay, all in favor of this approval, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. The approval of a development agreement for Turnkey Construction LLC for Cardinal Crossing. I saw Brandon's on and Robert is on. If there's any questions, also Josh is in the audience to answer any questions. Entertain a motion and then get into discussion.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any questions for the developer or for Josh? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approval of this development agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Thank you, Robert and Brandon, for hanging out with us all this time. Okay, next item. First reading of an ordinance amending section 2.32.01J regarding municipal court costs. I bet Kathleen is going to present this.
So state law allows us to have a maximum amount of municipal court costs, which is currently $38. We were at the maximum. The state legislature changed the law to allow us to increase court costs to $48. So this will only impact those individuals who are found guilty of a court citation. Our recommendation is that we adopt this. This is the first reading, so you don't need to take any action tonight.
Right. Okay, any questions before we go on next? Okay, next item, referral to the Committee of the Whole. Alder Dringler.
Yeah, and this will require a second, correct? Okay, all right. Just wanted to clarify. All right. So I refer to staff to report back on the feasibility, legality, and to provide options for a one-year moratorium on the construction of data centers in Sun Prairie.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Okay. Any other referrals? Okay, on to announcements. Any announcements? Yes, Alder Owens.
Just as a reminder, tomorrow is Earth Day. And as another reminder, this is National Library Week.
Thank you. As far as announcements, yeah, to add on to what Alder Owens talked about, if you haven't already, still opportunity, I think, to sign up for the parks cleanup this Saturday.
Whose birthday?
We gather at Sheehan Park and then move from there. I also want to thank the Public Works and Safety team for their diligent work during the latest round of storms. The teamwork, if you learn about the teamwork that occurred during those storms to keep us all safe, it's phenomenal. So both chiefs, please pass along to your teams my appreciation once again, and hopefully that word gets to JR and the Public Works staff. Even though she's not here, I wanted to thank Caitlin for her time spent here. We've enjoyed having her and wish her well, and you only want a key in the world, and I know she'll do well. Okay, next item. If we could, let's plan on, I think Alder Batterman will be here also. The next meeting on the 5th of May, let's have that be our traditional picture night. So
Yeah,
we could do tonight. Okay.
You're going to
we
get
want-
dressed up again?
I just wanted everybody to have a heads up,
Got
so
these
if
bags
they
now.
didn't have the opportunity to dress, they didn't know. So anybody opposed to having picture night tonight?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I'm going to be sick that day.
No. We're going to do that now. Serious? Well. Why can't we do it in May? Okay. If I had one objection, we'd wait until May. So we will wait until May. Sorry, have to dress up again.
Do you have another tie? I've got another tie. I got a lot of ties.
Okay, and I was just going to say my appointments to the committees, commissions, boards will be out very shortly after everything was settled tonight. So, on to adjournment. Would anybody
So
like to make a
move.
motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, everyone.